Amazon's venture into India was hailed as a strategic masterstroke, a potential goldmine for one of the world's largest e-commerce giants. With its fast-growing economy, rising internet penetration, and a population eager for new digital services, India seemed like the perfect market for Amazon to conquer. Jeff Bezos made no secret of this ambition, announcing that India was Amazon's most important market outside the US. In came billions in investment, cutting-edge logistics infrastructure, and aggressive marketing campaigns. Yet, nearly a decade later, Amazon finds itself grappling with a myriad of challenges in India, from fierce competition to government regulations, and a rapidly shifting market landscape. In this video, we explore Amazon's journey in India, what went wrong, what's still going right, and what the future might hold for the e-commerce giant. Welcome to the AI Lib. Amazon entered India with big dreams and bigger investments. Back in 2013, India was an emerging market for e-commerce, with only a small percentage of retail sales happening online. But the potential was massive. By 2020, analysts predicted India's e-commerce market would explode to over $100 billion, and Amazon wanted a large slice of that pie. The company poured over $5 billion into its Indian operations, and in those early years, it was largely smooth sailing. The first order of business was to establish robust infrastructure. Amazon built massive fulfillment centers, launched Amazon Seller Services, and expanded its delivery network to cover urban centers across India. Amazon's early focus on Tier 1 cities, the wealthier, more developed urban areas like Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore, gave it a solid footing among affluent consumers who valued fast delivery and a seamless shopping experience. However, India wasn't like the other markets Amazon had dominated. The logistical challenges of operating in such a vast and diverse country were immense. The company also faced stiff competition from local players like Flipkart, who had a better understanding of local consumer preferences. But despite these hurdles, Amazon's early moves seemed to pay off. The company quickly gained a foothold in India's urban markets, positioning itself as a major player alongside Flipkart. But while Amazon was focused on conquering the premium segment, a much larger and more complex market was emerging in India's smaller towns and rural areas, a market Amazon would struggle to understand and serve. One of Amazon's biggest miscalculations in India was underestimating the complexity of the Indian market. Unlike the US or Europe, India is far from a homogeneous consumer base. Economists and marketers often divide the country into three broad segments: India 1, India 2, and India 3. India 1, which represents the top 8 to 10% of the population, is relatively affluent and tech-savvy. These are the urban, middle, and upper-class consumers that Amazon initially targeted. They are willing to pay for convenience, prioritize customer service, and often have higher disposable incomes. This segment was a natural fit for Amazon's business model, which emphasized fast delivery, a wide range of products, and a smooth shopping experience. But India 1 is just the tip of the iceberg. Below it lies India 2, a much larger segment that includes the emerging middle class. These consumers are price-sensitive, less brand-conscious, and much more cautious when it comes to online shopping. Many are first-time internet users, and while they are open to the idea of e-commerce, they need more hand-holding and reassurance. Finally, there's India 3, which consists of the rural and semi-urban population. These consumers often have limited access to the internet, lower incomes, and rely heavily on informal, local markets for their shopping needs. E-commerce penetration in this segment is still low, but the potential for growth is enormous. Amazon's strategy in India focused heavily on India 1, a segment that, while profitable, was relatively small. Meanwhile, companies like Meesho and Flipkart began aggressively courting India 2 and India 3. By 2017, these underserved segments started coming online in droves, thanks to the arrival of affordable smartphones and cheap data provided by Reliance Jio. Amazon, which had built its business around urban consumers, was slow to respond to this massive shift. As India's internet revolution brought millions of new consumers online, the dynamics of e-commerce shifted dramatically, and Amazon found itself facing a new set of competitors who were better equipped to understand the nuances of the Indian market. Enter Meesho, Flipkart, and a novel strategy that capitalized on WhatsApp as a primary commerce platform. Each of these players leveraged localization, social behavior, and unique consumer insights to their advantage, and Amazon quickly realized that it couldn't rely solely on its global strategy in such a diverse market. Flipkart, Amazon's fiercest competitor, was founded in 2007, 6 years before Amazon set foot in India. As a homegrown player, Flipkart had a much deeper understanding of the Indian consumer psyche from the beginning. Flipkart's approach was based on solving problems specific to India's complex consumer landscape, particularly in terms of payment systems, logistics, and customer trust. Early on, Flipkart introduced cash-on-delivery (COD) as a payment option, which became a game-changer. For many Indian consumers, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, the idea of paying for a product before it arrived felt risky. COD allowed Flipkart to overcome this challenge, and it quickly became one of the most popular payment methods for e-commerce in India. Amazon was late to adopt this practice, which gave Flipkart a significant head start in gaining the trust of Indian shoppers. Flipkart also recognized early on that mobile-first shopping would dominate the Indian market, particularly in smaller towns. The proliferation of cheap smartphones, combined with affordable data plans introduced by Reliance Jio, meant that millions of new internet users were accessing the web primarily through their mobile devices. Flipkart designed its platform with mobile shopping in mind, offering an easy-to-navigate mobile app that catered to first-time internet users. This move paid off handsomely, especially in rural areas where desktop or laptop access was minimal, and smartphones were often the only gateway to the internet. Amazon, by contrast, initially focused on building a desktop-first experience, which, while sophisticated, did not resonate as strongly with this mobile-first consumer base. By the time Amazon optimized its mobile app for these users, Flipkart had already established a strong foothold, particularly in the non-metro cities that were driving India's next wave of digital commerce. However, it wasn't just Flipkart that posed a challenge for Amazon. Meesho, a social commerce platform that took India by storm, represents perhaps one of the most innovative disruptions in Indian e-commerce. Meesho's business model was fundamentally different from Amazon's traditional marketplace approach. Instead of directly connecting sellers and buyers through a platform, Meesho empowered small-town entrepreneurs, often women, to become resellers. These resellers would buy products through Meesho and then sell them to their personal networks, primarily via WhatsApp, India's most popular messaging platform. This strategy worked wonders in India 2 and India 3, where trust in e-commerce was still relatively low. For many people in these segments, the idea of buying from a large, faceless corporation like Amazon felt impersonal and risky. But when a neighbor, friend, or relative recommended a product through WhatsApp, the decision to buy became much easier. Meesho's platform enabled these resellers to not only earn an income but also provide a personalized shopping experience to their communities, which built trust and encouraged more transactions. WhatsApp became the engine that drove Meesho's success. With over 500 million users in India, WhatsApp is more than just a messaging app. It's a social platform, a business tool, and in many cases, a primary mode of communication. Meesho leveraged this ubiquity by integrating its platform seamlessly with WhatsApp, allowing resellers to conduct their business directly through the app. This innovation was critical in rural areas where formal e-commerce platforms like Amazon or Flipkart were still viewed with suspicion. Meesho allowed sellers to reach customers in a way that felt natural and familiar, building on the deep trust that exists in these close-knit communities. The success of Meesho also hinged on its zero-commission model. Unlike Amazon, which charged sellers a commission on each sale, ranging from 30% to 40%, depending on the category, Meesho allowed its resellers to keep all the profits from their sales. Instead of charging commissions, Meesho took a small fulfillment fee to cover logistics costs, making it a much more attractive platform for small sellers who were already operating on thin margins. This model allowed Meesho to offer products at significantly lower prices than competitors like Amazon and Flipkart, a key selling point in a price-sensitive market like India. In addition to lower prices, Meesho introduced faster payment cycles for sellers. On Amazon, sellers typically had to wait 14 to 19 days to receive payment for their sales, which could create cash flow problems for smaller businesses. Meesho shortened this payment window to just 7 days, allowing sellers to reinvest their earnings more quickly and grow their businesses faster. This small but crucial difference helped Meesho attract a vast network of sellers who might otherwise have struggled to operate on Amazon's more rigid platform. Together, these factors allowed Meesho to capture a massive share of India's rapidly growing e-commerce market, particularly in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. By focusing on social trust, local entrepreneurship, and affordability, Meesho succeeded in penetrating markets that Amazon had struggled to reach, creating a loyal customer base that was resistant to the more impersonal shopping experience offered by traditional e-commerce platforms. If local competition wasn't challenging enough, Amazon also had to contend with a complex and often hostile regulatory environment. The Indian government has always been wary of foreign companies gaining too much control over critical sectors like e-commerce. As Amazon's influence in India grew, so did the government's efforts to curb its power. In 2019, the Indian government introduced new rules aimed at leveling the playing field for local businesses. One of the most significant changes was a regulation that prevented e-commerce companies from selling products from vendors in which they had a stake. This rule hit Amazon particularly hard, as the company had invested in several Indian brands and was selling their products exclusively on its platform. As a result, Amazon had to remove hundreds of thousands of products from its website overnight, a move that disrupted its supply chain and alienated many customers. But that wasn't the only regulatory challenge Amazon faced. The Indian government has also been pushing for greater transparency and fairness in e-commerce practices. Initiatives like the Open Network for Digital Commerce, ONDC, aim to create a more open and competitive marketplace, reducing the dominance of big players like Amazon and Flipkart. These regulatory challenges have made it increasingly difficult for Amazon to operate in India as freely as it does in other markets. The company has had to constantly adapt its business model to comply with new rules, all while trying to stay ahead of the competition. While traditional e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Flipkart built logistics networks designed to deliver products within a few days, a new trend has emerged that threatens to upend this model: quick commerce. Quick commerce, which promises delivery within hours, sometimes even minutes, has quickly become one of the fastest-growing sectors in Indian retail, and Amazon is finding itself on the back foot in this battle. The concept of quick commerce has gained significant traction as consumers have increasingly demanded convenience in their shopping experiences. Companies like Blinkit, formerly Grofers, Zepto, and Swiggy Instamart seized the opportunity to offer ultra-fast delivery services, often promising to deliver products in as little as 10 minutes. This shift in consumer behavior, driven by the growing desire for speed and efficiency, has dramatically altered the Indian retail landscape. For Amazon, which built its reputation on speedy deliveries, quick commerce represents both a challenge and an opportunity. While Amazon's logistics network is highly efficient by traditional e-commerce standards, it wasn't originally designed for ultra-fast deliveries. Amazon Prime, for example, guarantees same-day or next-day delivery for certain products, but it doesn't come close to the 10-minute delivery windows that Blinkit and Zepto now offer in major cities. The rise of quick commerce has been especially pronounced in urban India, where consumers are willing to pay a premium for the convenience of near-instant deliveries. With more people relying on home deliveries for everything from groceries to household essentials, the demand for quick commerce has exploded. Blinkit, in particular, has capitalized on this trend, rapidly expanding its network and securing a valuation of over $13 billion. A staggering figure, considering Amazon India is valued at around $26 billion. In just a few short years, Blinkit has managed to capture nearly half the market value that Amazon built over a decade. One of the key reasons for Blinkit's rapid success is its hyper-local delivery model. Unlike traditional e-commerce platforms that rely on large fulfillment centers located outside major cities, quick commerce companies like Blinkit have established small, local warehouses in densely populated urban areas. These micro-fulfillment centers allow Blinkit to keep inventory close to the customer, enabling them to fulfill orders in just a few minutes. Amazon, by contrast, has relied on larger regional warehouses, which are more efficient for bulk deliveries but slower when it comes to meeting the needs of customers expecting near-instant gratification. In addition to Blinkit, companies like Zepto and Swiggy Instamart have also entered the quick commerce fray, intensifying the competition. Zepto, which was founded by two teenagers, has grown at an astonishing rate, raising hundreds of millions of dollars in funding and expanding its service to dozens of cities across India. Zepto's focus on delivering groceries and everyday essentials within 10 minutes has made it a favorite among urban consumers, particularly in metro areas like Mumbai and Delhi, where convenience is often valued more than price. Amazon's response to this new wave of competition has been slow. While the company has the infrastructure to support fast deliveries, it has yet to fully embrace the quick commerce model. Part of the challenge lies in Amazon's existing logistics setup, which is optimized for same-day or next-day deliveries, but lacks the hyper-local focus needed for ultra-fast fulfillment. Moreover, quick commerce requires a fundamentally different approach to inventory management. Instead of stocking thousands of products in a large warehouse, quick commerce companies must carefully curate a smaller selection of high-demand items that can be delivered quickly. For Amazon, the quick commerce trend represents a significant strategic dilemma. On the one hand, the company has the resources to invest in hyperlocal fulfillment centers and compete with Blinkit and Zepto. On the other hand, doing so would require Amazon to overhaul its existing logistics network and shift away from its more profitable bulk delivery model. The question for Amazon is whether it can afford to ignore this fast-growing segment of the market, especially as urban consumers increasingly expect instant gratification when shopping online. Recognizing that its e-commerce business in India is facing significant headwinds, Amazon has begun shifting its focus to other areas where it sees more potential for growth. One of these areas is cloud computing, where Amazon Web Services, AWS, is already a dominant player globally. In India, AWS is seen as a key growth driver, especially as more businesses move online and require cloud infrastructure to support their operations. In 2022, Amazon announced that it would invest $12.7 billion in expanding its AWS operations in India, a clear indication that the company sees cloud computing as a more stable and profitable business compared to e-commerce. AWS has been growing rapidly in India, serving clients ranging from startups to large enterprises, and is expected to be a major contributor to Amazon's overall revenue in the coming years. In addition to cloud computing, Amazon is also doubling down on digital payments. India's digital payments market has exploded in recent years, driven by the government's push for a cashless economy and the widespread adoption of UPI, Unified Payments Interface. Amazon Pay, the company's digital wallet service, has been growing steadily, but it still lags behind competitors like Google Pay and PhonePe, which dominate the market. Amazon hopes to leverage its vast e-commerce network to boost Amazon Pay's adoption, particularly in smaller towns and rural areas where digital payments are still gaining traction. However, much like its e-commerce business, Amazon Pay faces stiff competition from local players who are better attuned to the needs of Indian consumers. One of the most critical challenges Amazon faced in India was its inability to localize effectively in the early years. Amazon's global strategy, which had worked well in developed markets like the US and Europe, was not easily transferable to a country as diverse as India. The company's initial approach was to target India's wealthier, urban population, India 1. But this strategy overlooked the unique needs of the broader population in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Localization in India isn't just about translating the website into local languages. It's about understanding deeply ingrained cultural preferences and shopping habits. For example, many Indian consumers prefer cash-on-delivery, COD, to online payments, particularly in smaller towns where trust in digital transactions remains low. Flipkart recognized this early on and made COD a central part of its business model, which helped it gain a significant edge over Amazon in India's smaller cities and towns. Amazon was late to embrace COD and other local innovations. While the company eventually adapted, introducing COD and offering services in multiple regional languages, it was slow to recognize the importance of these features. By the time Amazon fully implemented these changes, competitors like Flipkart, Snapdeal, and Meesho had already captured significant market share. In addition to payment preferences, Indian consumers are highly price-sensitive, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Amazon's early focus on premium services and high-end products resonated well with India 1, but it struggled to appeal to India 2 and India 3, where affordability is key. Companies like Meesho, which offered lower-cost products and flexible payment options, quickly gained traction in these markets, leaving Amazon playing catch-up. Amazon's learning curve in India has been steep, but the company has made significant strides in recent years. It has expanded its logistics network to cover more rural areas, increased its product offerings at lower price points, and introduced initiatives like Amazon Easy, which allows customers in smaller towns to place orders through local store owners who act as intermediaries. While these moves have helped Amazon penetrate deeper into India's smaller markets, the company is still facing stiff competition from local players who better understand the nuances of these regions. Amazon's journey in India has been marked by intense competition, and the fight for market share has only intensified in recent years. While Flipkart remains Amazon's most formidable competitor, other players like Reliance and Meesho have emerged as significant threats, each with its own unique strengths and strategies. Flipkart, which was acquired by Walmart in 2018 for $16 billion, has consistently outperformed Amazon in India's e-commerce market. One of Flipkart's biggest advantages is its deep understanding of Indian consumers, particularly in the lower-income segments. Flipkart has long catered to the needs of Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, offering services like installment-based payments and partnerships with local vendors to ensure timely deliveries in remote areas. Additionally, Flipkart has been quick to embrace new trends in the Indian market, such as the rise of mobile shopping. The company has developed a highly intuitive mobile app that makes it easy for first-time internet users to shop online, a feature that has proven especially popular in smaller towns. While Amazon has a strong mobile presence, Flipkart's ability to adapt quickly to the changing needs of Indian consumers has allowed it to maintain its lead in the market. Reliance, India's largest conglomerate, has also emerged as a powerful player in the e-commerce space. Through its subsidiary, JioMart, Reliance has built a massive network of offline stores that are now integrated into its online platform. This omnichannel approach, which allows customers to shop online and pick up their orders at a nearby store, has proven to be highly effective in India's smaller cities and rural areas. Meesho, the social commerce platform that we've mentioned earlier, has also been a major disruptor in the market. Meesho's focus on enabling small-town entrepreneurs to become resellers has allowed it to tap into a vast, previously underserved market. The company's innovative use of WhatsApp to facilitate transactions has built trust among consumers who are still skeptical of online shopping, giving it a significant advantage over Amazon in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. With these competitors continuing to grow and innovate, Amazon faces an uphill battle to maintain and expand its market share in India. The company's deep pockets and robust infrastructure give it a strong foundation, but without a more localized approach, it risks falling further behind its rivals. Despite the challenges it faces, Amazon remains committed to India, investing heavily in its operations and expanding into new sectors. Since its arrival in 2013, Amazon has invested over $6.5 billion in the country, and this figure is expected to grow as the company continues to focus on long-term growth rather than short-term profitability. One of Amazon's biggest areas of investment in India has been in its logistics and fulfillment network. The company operates more than 60 fulfillment centers across the country, ensuring that it can deliver products quickly and efficiently, even in remote areas. Amazon has also invested in developing its delivery infrastructure, including building a fleet of electric vehicles to reduce its carbon footprint in India, a key concern in the country's urban centers. Amazon's focus on logistics has given it a competitive edge in terms of delivery speed and reliability, particularly in urban areas. However, as we've seen with the rise of quick commerce platforms like Blinkit and Zepto, even Amazon's impressive logistics network may not be enough to keep pace with the demand for instant deliveries. Amazon will need to innovate further if it wants to remain competitive in this rapidly evolving market. In addition to logistics, Amazon has also been investing and expanding its product offerings in India. The company has introduced several India-specific initiatives, such as Amazon Karigar, which promotes locally made products from artisans and craftsmen, and Amazon Saheli, which supports women entrepreneurs. These programs are part of Amazon's broader strategy to localize its offerings and appeal to a wider range of consumers. Moreover, Amazon is increasingly looking beyond e-commerce to other growth opportunities in India. As mentioned earlier, the company is focusing heavily on its cloud computing arm, AWS, which is expected to play a major role in India's digital transformation. AWS has already signed deals with several large Indian companies, and Amazon is betting that the growing demand for cloud services will help offset the slower growth of its e-commerce business. Amazon's investments in digital payments through Amazon Pay also reflect its long-term commitment to the Indian market. While the company faces stiff competition from Google Pay and PhonePe, Amazon believes that its vast e-commerce ecosystem will allow it to capture a significant share of India's rapidly growing digital payments market. As Amazon looks to the future, it faces a crucial crossroads in its Indian journey. The company has invested billions in building a strong foundation in India, but it is clear that it will need to adapt its strategy to keep pace with the country's rapidly changing e-commerce landscape. The rise of local competitors, increasing government regulations, and the shift toward quick commerce all pose significant challenges, but they also present opportunities for innovation and growth. One of the key questions for Amazon moving forward is whether it can regain momentum in India's smaller cities and rural areas. These regions represent the next wave of e-commerce growth in the country, and Amazon will need to find ways to better serve these consumers if it wants to remain competitive. This may require further localization of its offerings, more affordable pricing, and a greater focus on building trust among first-time online shoppers. At the same time, Amazon will need to navigate India's complex regulatory environment carefully. The government's push for greater competition and fairness in e-commerce will likely continue, and Amazon will need to find ways to comply with new regulations while still maintaining its competitive edge. The company's investments in AWS and digital payments suggest that it is already looking beyond traditional e-commerce, but it will need to strike a balance between expanding into new sectors and strengthening its core business. Ultimately, the future of Amazon in India will depend on its ability to adapt to the unique challenges and opportunities of this diverse market. With the right strategy, Amazon has the potential to not only maintain its position as a major player in Indian e-commerce, but also become a leader in the country's broader digital economy. So, what do you think? Can Amazon navigate the challenges in India and continue its dominance, or will local competitors and regulatory hurdles prove too much for the e-commerce giant? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future updates. Check out the videos appearing on your screen right now for more insights and stories from the world of technology. This is the AI Lib. Stay tuned.